And in that, then training people to be professional natural builders, which is where I see this is the line, this movement of natural building is pushing right now. We're on that thing of getting out of the fringe, getting out of the backwoods, going into the more professional builders and designers realm with it. I don't want to call it mainstream, because I don't think that's quite right. It is introducing a different way into the building scene, the mainstream building scene. It has to communicate with mainstream, but it isn't trying to fit into it. I am certainly not trying to fit into it. There's a lot of things that I want to do differently. And I've been trying to talk about that with people in how they approach work in general. Saying that if I am working, it has to align with who I am, what I am about in the world, kind of thing, and what my passion is, so that the reward out of my work is not only money. It's a really poor motivator. That's pretty obvious. So if I get out of my work the satisfaction of a beautiful result, or the feedback, or the connection with the others that I'm working with, that I get a feeling of self-expression, of just an expression of my passion or what I'm about. If that can come through my work, then I'm in the right place. And if I can't be in that, then I need to go find a different place to work. People don't like to hear that. Some people do, because they're in line with that, but other people feel threatened right away because they know they would have to leave if they were operating under those principles. And that's a work ethic question, in a way. And it ultimately is not sustainable if you don't work in line with your being. I've always thought that people do the work that is for them to do somehow, and that they need to find that. It's not about finding a job, it's about finding your work. It is a good platform, though, for natural building in this situation. And this being a demonstration site is of course pretty helpful too, because the intent is to teach. We have a school for sustainability here, and the intent is to share with the wider world, and so people will come here all the time and visit and look and talk and get introduction to stuff. So it's not just building this thing in the backwoods somewhere where it's serving the occupants only. This is serving a greater picture that way. The prime focus here that is stated is education and community as a bottom line for everything we do, or as a common thing for everything we do. It's kind of the core curriculum, you might say. This is why we take the time to have morning check-ins, several levels, community meetings. When I look at the actual production work time that we get out of a week here, is maybe 3 out of 5 days. Other time goes into explaining and instruction time, and it goes into community time, one way or another. So we do all this to build community and to allow people to explore a different way of being that they might not be able to practice all the time everywhere. But when I go back to my first co-op workshop experience, once there is a seed And once there is an experience of something that honors people differently and has a different respect for people and somehow invites them into basically into themselves, right? Or is supposed to be helping them in that process somehow. So once that seed is there, then it'll do what it does. One young woman came in here yesterday, and she really got it. She recognized that if she learned that, first of all, she suddenly felt that she didn't have any real life skills. And that learning how to build like this would be a really valuable skill and fairly easily obtained. And that reminded me of how I felt. Even though I was an architect, I didn't really know how to build a house. In theory I did, but I had no idea. And when I came out of that co-op workshop, that my world had changed because I felt like I had the power and the know-how. And it's not know-how, it's know-how in the hands to do it. And that changes your world. So the empowerment factor in this whole thing